online. I created this piece during the lockdown in the pandemic, and I was lucky enough to be selected by Z Arts to create an online piece for the Homemakers project, that home, a platform that they created. So yeah, now fast forward, we're here in 2023. Dance Consortium have given me the opportunity to be able to delve deeper into my research for this piece. So what was really good was that I was given a chance to kind of think about my research questions for the development of the piece. So then I came up with the research questions. I'm going to get my phone for this one, so I say them correctly. So my research questions were, what are the negatives and positives for dance on the internet with the evolution of social media? How do I help my students get the most out of a dance class whilst teaching online and not being able to give that same investment as in person? Are we dancing for others, and then when our phones are away, is it for ourselves and social activity? How does this affect the dancer mentally? So yeah, they were basically my research questions, and then from there, I thought, right, I need to get the music together. So I spoke with music producer, artist, Ezekiel Taylor, producer name Zeke the Freak, stage name known as El Zico, and then aka my cousin. So yeah, we basically discussed these music ideas. We came up with a few different tracks, and then I used the music that we kind of discussed and spoke about, these early ideas, to basically bring into a workshop and create creative workshops with young people. So I've done these workshops with young dancers, quite advanced dancers for their age. So as aged from 10 to 16, from Shockout Academy and the Ashton. I'm also going to be working with some students from Shockout Arts, ages 18 to 27, who are studying the BA Honours in Hip Hop at the moment. And the reason why I chose these schools is because Shockout Academy are known for nurturing a lot of the young talent around the Northwest and then leading them into future employment, into the professional world. And then the Ash Company, they're also known for winning a lot of trophies all around the country, and a lot of the young dancers around their talent agency and do a lot of performance opportunities of performing like the likes of Stormzy and H. So yeah, it was really important that I had the best young dancers from around the Northwest. Shockout Arts was a no-brainer really. I thought, well, they actually do R&D as a module on their course. So I was like, and I'm teaching on that module, so I thought, no-brainer. This will be a great opportunity for them to kind of learn and get some insight. So the first workshop was at Shockout Academy, and I was quite taken back actually, because I was surprised with how well they responded to the tasks that they were given. The first part of the workshop was to basically have a discussion with the young people and ask them the research question number one, which was, what are the negatives and positives to dance on the internet and social media? So what I done then was I kind of wrote down these answers to what they thought were negatives and positives, for then I would later use in a later workshop. Then what I got the young people to do was to create a piece of choreography to the music that Zeke had created. So once they came up with the choreography that they made up themselves, which was about 2 counts of 8, I basically gave them direction and gave them a theme. So I one of the themes was loneliness. So I said, how that determines your movement within the choreography you've just made up. Think about the formations, think about the focus, where your eyeline is if you're feeling lonely. And then the second task was do the choreography as if you were sad. Do it slower, or you might want to do formations now. It might just be one person that's sad, and everyone else is comforting that person throughout the choreography. Does that make sense? You might make a transition where on that part of the choreography or something. So then the second workshop was with Shockout Arts. They had research question number 3. So that question was, when we're on social media and the internet, are we dancing for others? And then when our phones are away, are we dancing for ourselves and for social activity? So I asked the students in a different way. So I asked them that question, but a little bit more through a different question to provoke a certain type of answer. So the question I asked the students were, when you post content, what do you want, out of posting your content? And what matters most from posting your content, should I say? So then, it was really interesting, this one, because there was a common theme, which was recognition, and I ended up writing that down in capitals in my notepad. So yeah, some of those examples where we had like recognition from teachers, recognition from a sensei, feedback from people that know the journey, reassurance, executing someone else's choreography, when someone gives you recognition, constructive criticism. So overall, they were looking for recognition, and this was really interesting for me because for myself, I know when I post content, my content is more for, sometimes it's for nostalgia reasons, and sometimes it's just to look back and see like how far I may have come. So it's really interesting to see the difference in generations and why they post. So then I kind of, after the discussions, I followed the format from the first workshop by asking the students to make up their own choreography, 2 counts of 8 or a little bit more. And then how I done this workshop was give the answers and the positives and the negatives that I got from my first workshop, and gave these to the Shockout Art students and asked them to respond, which was, the question was, what are the positives and negatives of social media and the internet within dance? And a positive was, let's say, to be noticed. I might say, why does that matter? And then, a negative might be getting compared, and I say, how do we make that a positive? And then, that's how we got the pieces. Makes them feel. The answers that I got from Ash really resonated with me, but was interesting because they contradicted for the reasons like post, for example, like when you post on TikTok, there can be so many judgmental comments. So like, for instance, it's like some of the
it was like they dance because they knowing that they won't be judged, feeling at home, fearless, you know, all those types of things kind of clash with the setup with online, especially with TikTok. And you see some of the negativity. So then what I done was I got the young people to choreograph a routine, same format, 2 counts a day. So what I done was I really wanted to delve into recognition from the Shock Out Arts workshop because that was really interesting to me. So I asked the students from Ash, what does recognition look like to you? And some of those things were, so when a choreographer compliments you, taking part in something special, performing with a group of people, someone to know who you are and be picked out of a group of people. You have to think about who are the characters in that answer. Yeah, so if it's when a choreographer compliments you, you've got students and you've got a choreographer. Does that make sense? So they're the 2 characters. And then it'll be like, how does that character feel? So depending on how that character feels, if they're not being complimented, how are they going to feel? How may they feel? How are they going to feel? Sad. Yeah, so that might determine how they're feeling. Oh, and then when they do get complimented, they might feel happy. Yeah. And then if I'm complimenting someone, I might just come behind this person and be like, hey, through movement. Yeah. I don't have to be like, well done, you done it. Just show it through like your movement, and then you might come back out, and then everyone might come around and be like, just hyped, yeah. Right. So just think about things like that. Today is we're basically exploring the movement language, so we're trying to discover what the movement looks like for the piece we're trying to create and what we're trying to say, the messages that we're trying to get across. So I basically took a lot of the research that I found out through my workshops and used that research to kind of explore that research through movement. So that's things like keeping the standard in dance within the realm of the internet and social media, and keeping individuality in dance. In terms of like the music, how we've kind of developed to that is, I started off by sitting down with Zeke and we discussed certain research questions that I had, and he then kind of delved into like this online type of internet sound where we've started playing with certain music ideas, which has then led us to even more from the workshops, because from the workshops we kind of discovered new themes and took us on new journeys and gave us inspo for kind of more music ideas, which we're going to end up having more ideas than what we even needed. So yeah, it's going great. Someone that creates project mapping called Sean. We had a great meeting recently, and I kind of told him my ideas. A part of my development of this piece is to
kind of explore set design, and I wasn't sure what that was at the beginning of the research and development, but then going along I kind of realised what that was, and I've took an interest in project mapping now for a while, and I've been interested in exploring that within my work, and I really could envision how this piece would kind of work with the effects of project mapping happening around the piece, and with it being about online and technology and social media, I can really see in my head the areas where this could work. So, I mean, I'm excited. So I'd say through discovery, Lost Online is about self-expression and finding individuality. My one-line quote for Lost Online would be, keep the exchange in dancing and